I was once in your position, endlessly searching for amazing games that I'd never seen before on the Switch. And now that I've been making videos for just over a year, I thought I'd make my own list. 5 hidden gems I found amongst other people's hidden gems videos over the years. And I'm keeping it as 5 in order to prioritize quality over quantity. Also, all of these games are playable on Switch too. Number 1's name is better described with the sound effect. Blizzard is a platform game published in 2023 for PC and the Switch. You control a small robot in a futuristic environment mimicking an 8-bit arcade video game, but with upgraded and, in my opinion, beautiful graphics. The game is only $15, and for a platformer with this much content, I think it's very much worth it, as it reminded me of games like Celeste and Shovel Knight with the polish that it had. The story is nothing to write home about, but to be honest, in a platformer, who really cares? The game is set in the year 4096, and the robot that you play as is the result of a scientific experiment. There's 3 different levels of difficulty, with the easiest giving the player 3 lives per level, and the hardest gives the player only 7 lives for the entire game. For the collectors out there, there's screws, which are basically just special coins that you can try to get throughout each level. And there's also a challenging time limit, which if you beat it within that time, you complete that achievement. So every individual level has 2 challenges, and there's 52 levels, and some of them even have secret areas. If you like Mario Odyssey as much as I do, then the next game you'll love. Out of all the games on this list, this is the least hidden gem because it has a decent amount of popularity, but I'd still argue that it has much less than it deserves. The game gives you a yo-yo, which you can use to swing around the world. It was released in 2024, and I actually discovered it during a Nintendo Direct. The main story is split up into several levels across various worlds, most of which require Penny to make it safely to the end while avoiding admittedly easy to avoid penguins. At the end of each level, there's a podium which the player can attempt to land on and show off their yo-yo tricks. One thing I love about a game like this and Mario Odyssey is that the game just straight up gives you the entire moveset off the get-go, meaning that instead of games like Metroid where you later acquire abilities that allow you to reach the earlier areas, those earlier areas are always available to you. You just need the skills, which you can only get by practicing. So as you play the game more and more, you get more and more skillful with the yo-yo, you can go back to the earlier levels and find more secrets. You do earn coins in each level. In a 3D platformer, as someone that likes the game to just be you and the world instead of having an inventory of a sort, I wasn't a huge fan because it just had things like revives or a free death which doesn't count as a death or stuff like that. So I found myself just ignoring the shop, and it doesn't have anything meaningful like, I don't know, clothings or customization stuff. Levels cleared in the story mode can also be played in the time attack mode, which features online leaderboards. Again, I felt this was a little bit pointless because I could literally just play the levels normally, but I guess having a timer in the top left corner is easier than having a separate software, so it's a feature I don't really care for, but I'm happy it's there. In fact, that's most of the features for this game. I basically just played the story mode, the others felt a bit useless to me. You'll be able to play the game from start to finish without encountering any bugs, but personally when I was trying to find like secrets or find speedrun routes, I did notice a few out of bounds areas, which if you're at the point of speedrunning it, you probably already like the game, so it shouldn't just be an issue if you're just looking to play the game casually. Next is Into the Breach. Into the Breach is one of the few games on Switch which actually has fully touch controls integrated. It's obviously optional, I just thought it was a cool addition. It's a turn-based strategy game, and after it was released for PC, it was actually published by Netflix in 2022 on mobile devices, which is probably why we got touchscreen integration, because they just ported it from mobile. The game is set far in the future where humanity fights against an army of giant monsters called the Vec. To combat them, the player controls giant mechs, which can be equipped with a variety of weapons, armor, and other equipment. The game is a turn-based combat system, but instead of facing them head-on, I found the game to be much more strategic than I had originally anticipated. Each enemy has an attack zone which is predetermined every turn, and using your mechs, while you can defeat them, which does stop them from attacking, you can also just move them, which also moves their attack range. So if a city is in danger of being attacked by one of the Vec, instead of defeating it, you can simply move it to the right, and therefore it will attack the area to the right of the city rather than the city itself. By manipulating the placement of each of the Vec, you can actually make them turn against each other, and it results in some really satisfying gameplay, and it's actually much more strategic than it appears at first. The game is broken into a sequence of islands, each with a number of scenarios to complete, and while the islands remain the same each game because it is a roguelike, the scenarios themselves are generated procedurally. At first you've only unlocked the first island, but once you've unlocked all of them, you can choose which one you start at. Each one has various conditions that affect combat scenarios and different hazards. Should the player lose any scenario, either due to their 3 mechs becoming disabled, losing their power grid, or failing to protect a specific target, then the player has the option to send one of their pilots back in time, which is essentially the element of the roguelike. Each run you can keep one pilot and keep all their statistics and stuff, which adds a sense of progression through each run. The game actually received really great reviews, with a 10 out of 10 from GameSpot and a 9 out of 10 from IGN. Each battlefield is on an 8x8 grid, which makes the game feel really compact, but in the most positive way possible, because the battles feel so seamless and more akin to a game like chess, in the sense that each piece has their own role and has limited movesets, but you know that if you do just the right combination of moves, you can always win. You can also unlock loads of different mechs with different movesets, some that do more damage, some that are better at moving things. Definitely give this one a go. Next, I have Bear and Breakfast. This game is much more relaxed than the previous, and could be described as a cozy game, and I know what you're thinking, no, it's not a farming game, as opposed to 99% of other cozy games. In Bear and Breakfast, you build a bed and breakfast in the woods, but with the twist that you're a bear. If you played the game Prison Architects or City Skylines, it plays a little similar, in the sense that you're constantly trying to make your customers happy through including decorations which boost their morale. You can be a top tier designer, or you can just put what you need in each room. It's up to you. It's described as a management adventure game, and the whole idea of the bed and breakfast is that you're raising money for you and your animal friends by renovating abandoned buildings in the middle of the forest. There's loads of side quests when you explore the forest and interesting areas to discover. And one drawback I will say is that the controls are a little bit janky. It was definitely designed in mind for the PC, and while people say this is a big flaw, personally it didn't bother me too much. Obviously I did feel a bit of jank, but I enjoyed the game just as much as I probably would have on PC. So if you look at other reviews and you see them hating on that, just know that it's not the end of the world. The final game on my list is Gunbrella. This is the second 2D platformer of the video, but I think it's definitely worth it. The 2D platformer genre is definitely oversaturated, which means when a new one comes out, it has to identify itself with some specific feature. This game is the Gunbrella itself. It's just such an awesome mechanic. You can propel yourself into the air with the Gunbrella and glide down slowly by holding it out like Mary Poppins. It's also obviously a weapon because it's a gun, and throughout the game you can receive loads of upgrades. The movement is perfection. You can move up and down zip lines by hooking your umbrella to them. The difficulty is not too easy and not too hard, and if it is too easy, you can turn on the hard mode, which I made the mistake of, because yes, it's in the name, it's hard. The game follows a gruff woodsman on a quest for revenge, armed with the mysterious Gunbrella. It kind of combines elements of shooter and platformer games while incorporating unique gameplay mechanics. I also forgot to mention that you can use the Gunbrella as a shield, because it blocks projectiles. You navigate through a series of levels, but they're not really divided into levels, more so worlds, feeling more open-ended to how you complete the game. There's not exactly side quests, but you can definitely get lost exploring and talking to NPCs, and also finding money to spend on health recovery items, which in this game are very important, and other forms of ammo. There's also a side plot of trying to investigate the origin of the Gunbrella through interrogating cops, cultists, ghouls, and many more. Resources like scrap and spare parts can also be acquired for upgrades and ammunition throughout the mysterious journey. It's set in a dystopian steampunk world, and the art style is very consistent, and that's my top 5 hidden gems. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to try out all of these games on my Switch too, and hopefully if you didn't find a game here, you can comment your recommendations down in the comments so others can look there to find even more recommendations. I've done a few unscripted videos lately, so let me know if you guys prefer these or if you want me to go back to scripting videos. This has been my top 5 hidden gems on Switch. Thank you for watching.